Good evening. I'm Pedro Hazel Jr.
I'm Steve Ferguson.
Welcome to another edition of the PedroFergie Sportscorner. Tonight we'll be discussing Steve Tisch and the Giants, Bill Belichick and Eli Manning not getting into the NFL Hall of Fame, Super Bowl 60, Bad Bunny, and more. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. The internet address is youtube.com/@PedroFergie Sportscorner. All one word. Again, it's youtube.com/@PedroFergie Sportscorner. All one word. Okay, now we got a tough one here. This is dealing with, Steve Tisch and the Giants. It says here, New York Giants owner Steve Tisch named in Epstein files, exchanged emails about connecting with women. He was among millions featured in documents in the latest. He's featured among millions of documents in the latest release of Jeffrey Epstein's files Friday, trading emails with the disgraced financier over connecting with women. In one thread of correspondence in April 2013, Tisch emailed Epstein, then a convicted sex offender, to say he had had lunch with a friend of one of Epstein's assistants, describing her as a very sweet girl. And if he knew anything, and asked him if he knew anything about her. And Epstein wrote that she's a character, short term, has an older boyfriend, going to acting school, and a really big behind. I'm happy to have you as new, but obviously shared interest friend. And then that's just one of many emails he sent. Mm-hmm. And then he told Epstein told Tisch to send him a cell number, as he didn't like records of these conversations. And then he's followed up with another email saying that the unnamed woman was not on this trip. Another cryptic email purportedly about a Ukrainian woman. And she's a little freaked by the age difference, but go slow and wait. I will convince her not to return to Ukraine, leaving her crying worked. In a statement provided by the Giants, Tisch said the exchanges never led to anything.
Okay.
We had a brief this is the Giants statement. We had a brief association about adult women, and in addition, we discussed movies, philanthropy, and investments. He said, I did not take him up on any of his invitations and never went to his island. As we all know now, he was a terrible person and someone I deeply regret associating with. Man, that's pretty damning news here.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that make this interesting. First of all, we know about Epstein and the fact that he's a sex offender, number one. Number two, when Epstein's name has been mentioned, it has been mentioned by politicians.
Yes.
As we know, the Clinton family was mentioned also.
Oh, yeah.
Even the Obama family has been mentioned with this.
Obama?
Even him. Even
oh, my
his
God.
name's been associated. Not as much as the Clintons, but there has been some discussion. So what we're learning about this guy, we don't even know how many connections this man has to the outside world. That's one reason this is dangerous, because what's going to happen here, I believe, this is going to be a major national news story.
Yeah.
This is not going to be just associated with the New York Giants unless Steve Tisch is telling all the truth, and that's it. That's his association.
But I think other teams might not. The Giants, even though the Giants are mentioned here,
yep.
Other teams might be mentioned this whole thing too. So this may not be just a Giant story.
That's right. This might be a serious national story that will be open for a lot of discussion and debate. As of right now, there's a lot of wonder what's going to happen with the Giants. First of all, you have John Mara, who has been their principal owner for years, who is 70 years old and has cancer. That's a scary reality.
Yeah.
Because one of my friends and I discussed this. I said, when you talk about cancer and somebody's 70 years old who is running a franchise, there's a fear that he might die while he's in charge.
Yes.
So Steve Tisch, who has been the founder with Mara, is the guy that they're going to expect to take over. However, if they find he's guilty of the association with Epstein, it could get very messy for him and the Giants.
The funny thing is, according to this article in the Daily News, Tisch has actually taken a major step in recent years. Since the passing of his daughter in 2020, Hillary. He is now Lowe's, the company that Tisch owns, is a publicly traded company in insurance, drilling rigs, natural gas pipelines, and hotels. Tisch's brother, team treasurer Jonathan Tisch, has been more present at the helms of the Giants in recent years on behalf of his family. His sister Laurie is a member of the organization's board of directors. The Mara and Tisch family recently sold a 10% minority stake in the franchise to billionaire Julia Koch and members of the Koch family.
And one other thing we should mention here, and this is very interesting, is that the police commissioner of New York is a
Jessica
woman
Tisch
named Jessica Tisch
is Steve Tisch's cousin. Yes.
That's a very interesting scenario, because how much will she get involved in investigating him? She has a lot of power as in her realm.
Present position.
Correct. Yeah. So now this is where this gets very tricky. We don't know how far she will go in investigating him. And we don't know what he has done that may cause her to investigate him. And he may have to step down from a number of boards that he is on the top rung on. He may not be able to be what he is now for the Giants if they find him guilty of
basically, like I said, like I mentioned, though, he stepped away from his involvement with the team.
True. But you have to keep him in mind now, because if John Mara passes on, what do they do? Does Jonathan Tisch take over? Do they let Steve Tisch come back and do this job? I'm not sure they would, because his name, and we don't know yet, could be very seriously involved with this guy who is a sex offender. And I think we're going to find out more about
Epstein died in 2019.
Right.
Yeah.
I know he died recently.
2019.
That's fairly recent, but this is a can of worms that I think the Giants have to be very careful with.
Yeah.
Remember, the New York Giants, and I'm going to tell you this as a fan of the teams like the Giants, this team has been pretty irrelevant on the national scale.
They've been really bad the last several years.
The last time they even made the playoffs was 2022.
Yeah. In recent years, yeah.
Now, this is a team that is trying to rise up from the ashes. By that, I mean they have a new quarterback, Jackson Dart, who looks like a really great talent.
Yeah.
They have the pieces around their team to get better quick. They have a wide receiver who obviously is a top talent, number 6 pick in the draft, great talent. They have a guy named Scattaboo on the 4th round who looks like a super running back. Maybe eventually making Giant fans forget all about the guy who was there, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
They have improved their team to the point now where they actually, dare I say it, they might actually make the playoffs if they do the right things in the draft. But now they have a new head coach who's here also, who is not involved in any of this, John Harbaugh. What's going to happen with this team now? Stay tuned.
Yes, indeed.
This could be part 1 of a very lengthy investigation. We'll have to see exactly where Steve Tisch fits in and what they're going to try to do to keep him out of the public eye. That's another area they have to watch.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, this, as they say, stay tuned.
Yes, stay tuned.
Yes. There was a delay. There was a deluge of outrage when former Patriots coach Bill Belichick, shockingly, and I mean shockingly, was not elected to the Football Hall of Fame Wednesday. Bill Belichick, the 8-time Super Bowl winning coach, 6 as a coach with the Patriots, was not a first ballot Hall of Famer. In voting earlier this month, Belichick fell short of the 40 out of 50 votes needed for induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame during his first year of eligibility. Belichick received a call from a hall representative Friday afternoon with the news that he will not be inducted in Canton, Ohio. Several sources who spoke with the coach over the weekend described Belichick as puzzled, disappointed by his inability to secure support from at least 80% of Hall committee members. 6 Super Bowls isn't enough, Belichick asked an associate, referring to the championships he won as the head coach of the Patriots. What does a guy have to do? I know Patrick Mahomes said it was insane, speaking to ESPN.
I think that is the right word to describe what it is.
Even President Trump got into the whole thing. It is the same mindset that gave pro football the new and unwatchable sissy kickoff rule that made it going from the 35 from the 30. That made it possible for Bill Belichick to not be elected into the Football Hall of Fame, he wrote. Both are ridiculous and should be overturned.
Let me tell you, as much as I am not a fan of Belichick or the team he used to be with the Patriots, let's get the facts straight here. This man is the second highest winning NFL coach in the history of the game.
That's right.
The only one who has more wins than him is the late, great, and I mean great, Don Shula.
Don Shula, yeah.
Bill Belichick has won 8 titles, 6 of them with the Patriots, and God forbid they win number 7 next week. But 6 titles are under his jurisdiction. He won the other 2 with the New York Giants.
As a defensive coordinator.
This man is an icon.
Yeah.
He should, of course, be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Damn right.
He wasn't the greatest human being in the world.
No, he was an idiot. You know, he was a jerk.
Yes. He had the Spygate case against him.
That's why they didn't vote him against him. The Spygate thing.
With 2 teams, not just the Jets, and we know that went on, but it was also with the Colts. And this is where I really am irritated. They have a 90-year-old man, Bill Polian, who runs the Colts, who denied him his opportunity to be in the Hall of Fame. That was the most petty, disgusting thing you could have done to Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
I don't like him, but that's beside the point.
Exactly.
This is a man who has been a legend and a phenomenal icon to the game of football for years.
Yeah.
And you don't have to like them. When you look at the numbers and look at the career and look at the things he did and the people that played for him, all of them, Vrabel, Gronkowski.
Of course, Brady,
Bruschi, Harrison, they're all Hall of Fame star players.
Yeah.
Somebody had to run that team and teach them how to be that.
Yeah.
He was the man who did that.
He was the man, yeah.
And I know Jet fans like me hate his guts, and we always will. But I'll tell you another reason.
Look at his record.
That's right. He never
you can't deny,
He never liked the New York Jets. They hated a chance to be the coach of the Jets. He walked away from our team in one day. Yeah. One day. He said, I'm not coaching that team. I don't like them.
But you know what? He probably made the right decision for turning down the Jets.
As it turned out.
Knowing the way the Jets have been run.
Well, when you see the ownership that the Jets have, you know why he walked. Woody Johnson is an absolute disaster as the owner of that team. But he was smart enough to get himself out of there and go to New England and build up a team to be an iconic franchise, the most feared franchise in the game right now.
Yes.
So that is heinous that this man wasn't elected. I would go a step further if I were the players of this team. I would like to see them protest the fact that he's not in. I would like to see them go to this Hall of Fame committee and say, listen, if he's not in the Hall of Fame, then take my name off the ballot. I don't want to be there either. You have disgraced my team to the point where I don't even want to be in the Hall of Fame.
Good.
If the 7 or 8 of those players that I mentioned to you a few minutes ago were to do that, I think that would be justice for Bill Belichick, and it's about damn time.
Thank you. It's just, and then also too, we also have to mention Eli Manning was not.
Oh yes.
There's a case for him to be in the Football Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
His regular season record was not spectacular.
No.
117.
Right.
In the playoffs, though, he's 8-4.
Oh yeah.
He was a clutch quarterback in the playoffs.
Yes.
Whenever they were in the playoffs, he was clutch.
Oh yes, he was. I can name you 2 games where he was that. One game you may not remember, that was against the Green Bay Packers. And I believe, and if I'm wrong, I will say so on the next show. I believe the quarterback he was facing was Aaron Rodgers. It had to have been 10 or 15 degrees below zero in
Green Bay.
The coldest environment outside of Chicago and Minnesota in this country. And he engineered some incredible drives against the
Green Bay was pretty. I think the Ice Bowl was in Green Bay, but go ahead.
Yes, it was.
Go ahead.
But what he did in that game, nobody thought he could do it. Eli Manning, for the most part, as an NFL quarterback, was barely 500. But the postseason, he was a star.
Yes.
And I'll tell you the other game that most of the New York audience remembers. When the Patriots were undefeated in the regular season and they played in that Super Bowl, let's remember who won those 2 Super Bowls. The only quarterback who ever beat Tom Brady, not once, but twice in the Super Bowl, is Eli Manning.
Yeah.
And for those of you who remember that catch, the one where he threw the ball and we all said, where the hell is he throwing it? Well, that throw was thrown at Rodney Harrison's head. But David Tyree, his very good wide receiver, made an incredible catch with a minute left in the game. I remember, as you do,
yes.
We were at a bar seeing that. I remember saying, where is he throwing the ball? We looked up, we're like, oh my God, where is this going? Yeah. Next thing I heard at that bar was the screaming of every fan in there like they had lost their minds.
Yeah.
And we had for that moment.
Yeah.
But he is a guy who plays very well in clutch situations. That's one of the reasons I would put him in. And secondly, when you beat Tom Brady, who actually won seven titles, and he would have won 9 if not for Tom Brady.
That's right.
Tom Brady is a guy who would have won actually as many as 10.
Yeah.
The other guy who stopped him is a very good backup quarterback, Nick Foles, who played for the Eagles.
Philadelphia Eagles.
So we're talking about a man who would have won 10 Super Bowls. Eli Manning kept it at 7 because he won 2 of them. He was the better quarterback that day. And I'm telling you right now, Giant fans have every right to be angry as hell that he's not in. But I think 2-3 years from now, he will finally get in.
Also, too, one person was saying that the defenses are spectacular too.
Oh yes.
Back when Manning was playing,
the Giants had one of the feared defenses in the game at that time. They were a brutally tough defensive team.
Yeah.
Their offense was really cool. They had not 1, not 2, but 3 really good running backs. They had Burris, their wide receiver, who was an absolute standout as a wide receiver. They had tight ends that were amazing.
Of course, we had the aforementioned David Tyree.
Oh, yeah. David Tyree, that may be the only thing he'll ever be remembered for as a New York Giant.
Yeah.
But it was the most spectacular moment of his NFL life.
Yeah. And I could make one story for Eli Manning. I'm looking at these statistics here. In the regular season, he completed 60.3% of his passes. A very good percentage.
Very impressive.
60.3% of his passes. And let me just see here. Yeah, 60.3% of his passes. And we were comparing that to Joe Namath, who is in the Hall of Fame, basically because of that one Super Bowl, Super Bowl 3, where it kind of showed that the AFL was in parity with the NFL.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why he got in, because
and I'll give you one other reason. He beat legendary head coach Don Shula.
Yes.
Who was
coaching the Baltimore Colts at the time.
I have always said Don Shula, even though I'm a Jet fan, was my favorite head coach. Nobody coached as well as Don Shula for me.
Yeah.
But what he did, what Joe Namath did to that team, that was the superior team of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
They were favored to kill the Jets, not win, kill the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets came back and beat them.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the score, if I remember, was 16-13.
16-7.
16-7. Wow.
Yeah.
They dominated that team. Joe Namath had the game of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Joe Namath also had 2 very good years before he got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. 2 really good years. Yeah.
Yep. You should tell them what the records were for those.
Well, I mean,
years.
his best seasons were 67. It was 8-5-1. 68, the year they won that Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He was 11-3. And in 69, he was 10-4 the season after the Super Bowl. So he was great. The only thing is afterwards, the team kind of faltered after that.
Oh, yeah. But Joe Namath played through every injury that anybody would have
Oh, yes.
played
He was
through.
he had a lot of injuries.
He was very brittle.
Bad knees.
Terrible knees. Could barely run. Could barely move. Not mentioning run. He could barely move.
Mm-hmm.
But he had courage that most quarterbacks don't have. I remember a play where the Jets actually won the game just as I was starting to get into football.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Namath could barely run.
Yeah.
He, on a naked bootleg where you're totally exposed to the opposition, ran into the end zone and he could barely move.
Gosh.
That's how talented Joe Namath was.
Mm-hmm.
Talented and gutsy and charismatic and smart. But he did that. I remember seeing that. I said, how is he doing this? He can't even move out of the pocket.
Yeah.
But that he got it up enough courage and ran it in.
That's right.
That's why in this town, even now, he is the most revered Jet player ever. Ever.
Mm.
And they have one title. He may go down as when he later on passes on as the best New York Jet player they have ever had in their history.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking Joe Namath. All the years since Joe Namath, and the Jets still haven't had a really great quarterback other than Chet Pennington and maybe Sam Darnold, who we'll discuss in a moment.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. Now, finally on to Super Bowl 60. A week from today, February 8th, with the Seattle Seahawks facing the New England Patriots. Yes, the Patriots, once again, this time under head coach Mike Vrabel and Drake May as quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And the Patriots will be making their 12th appearance. Yes, 12th appearance at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California. One of the reasons I'm wearing this shirt, Sam Darnold's USC
you see
alum.
This shirt I'm wearing? This is for Sam Darnold.
He's a former Trojan.
Correct. And I will tell you what I think of Sam Darnold. There are people out here who will tell me point blank he wasn't worth that money, wasn't worth the 3rd pick in the draft. I'm here to tell you, you know who is the only quarterback of the group who has a chance to win a Super Bowl? It's not Josh Allen. It's not Baker Mayfield. It's not Lamar Jackson. It's him.
Yeah.
He is going for his first Super Bowl, and I want him to get it.
Yes.
I am not one of those Jet fans that's annoyed that he left the New York Jets.
That's right.
Because the Jets were idiots to let this guy walk.
Yeah.
He had enough talent, and I was at one of his games. You remember this game where he threw against the Houston, I believe they were the Texans at that time.
Houston, Texas.
They had a guy,
Texans.
Andre Hopkins, one of the best wide receivers in the game. Let me tell you what Sam...
Are you sure it was Houston Texans? It may have been the...
Not the Oilers.
No. The Tennessee Titans.
Possibly.
But I think it was was it Houston?
I think it was Houston.
Houston Texans.
I can tell you the player was definitely Andre Hopkins.
Okay.
Who at that time was the best wide receiver in the game. What Sam Darnold did, even though they lost this game, he put on a heroic effort. He threw for over 300 yards. You tell me another Jet quarterback that can do that.
Yeah.
You can't find one. Maybe Pennington and maybe Namath. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't tell me Vinny Testaverde. Vinny test my nerves. He couldn't move. 1999, he was hurt. He missed the rest of the season. I remember him. Yes, he was colorblind. For those of you who didn't know that. And when he had time to throw, he was good. But this dude couldn't run at all.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold can run and throw. Yes, he's been on 4 teams, now number 5. By the way, Minnesota, the worst mistake you ever made.
Yeah.
Here's what you did to him. This man got you 28 victories in 2 years. And what did you do to thank him? You shipped him off to Seattle, and you put in that backup J.J. McCarthy. And you know what he is? He is not an NFL quarterback yet. But this guy who you're going to see next Sunday is. And I want him to win that damn Super Bowl. I don't care. I'm a Jet fan. I want him to do well.
I second that. Both teams played interesting games last weekend. The Seahawks last Sunday. The Seahawks beating the Los Angeles Rams 31-27, and the Patriots edging the Broncos 10-7. This game, the Super Bowl, coming up next Sunday, has caused a lot of controversy as Bad Bunny, a reggaeton rapper and producer and one of the biggest names in Latin music, as well as among the most popular performers in the world, who was born in Bayamon, Puerto Rico, and is a U.S. citizen, Puerto Rico being a U.S. territory, who will be performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. A lot of the controversy revolves around, of course, his rapping only in Spanish and his criticism of ICE and America. Turning Point USA, a right-wing conservative organization which was founded by Charlie Kirk, who was recently assassinated in last September. They are doing an alternate halftime show to counter the Bad Bunny performance with the All-American Halftime Show, streaming over several right-wing cable networks and streaming platforms.
That's right.
President Trump said he will not attend the game, claiming it was, quote, just too far away. I would. I've gotten great hands at the Super Bowl. They like me, Trump said. I would go, but if it were a little bit shorter, I think the real reason he isn't going there because he knows he's going to get his butt booed.
Yes.
That's the real reason he's not going.
And when he tells you that they're supporting him, get out of my face.
Yeah.
Don't even bother telling that lie to the American public. You know how much most of us, even those of us watching this show, despise you.
Yeah.
Okay? And Bad Bunny, I don't care where he's from. I understand he's Puerto Rican. And you know what? That's part
He's an American citizen.
That's right. That is part of the pride that you have taken away from people in this country.
That's right.
People of mixed races, background, doesn't
different
matter.
Backgrounds, yeah.
We are all Americans, and we should be represented well. And this is one of the days in our history when we have a Super Bowl that can happen.
Yes. The funny thing is the halftime shows, a lot of them, I think a lot of them can enhance the game. I know there's a lot of, I know some people think, oh, it should be about the players. I think in a way it should be.
Yeah.
But it kind of, the reality is the network spends so much time on these games. They spend so much money on the rights to air these games. Absolutely. They have to air a lot of different stuff to keep the audience from tuning in. To keep the audience tuned in.
I don't have a problem with this kind of ceremony at all.
Neither do I.
Because there have been days where I have sat and been bored out of my mind watching the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Case in point, I believe it was 2003, Seattle, Denver.
No, 2014.
2014? Dude, that game was the worst.
That was that 43-8 drubbing.
They talked about that all week long in this town. They had parades and they had.
This was the first Super Bowl held in a cold area, MetLife Stadium, in an open air stadium in a cold environment.
Let me tell you what that week was like. It's coming back to me now. We had the most incredible weather for about 3 or 4 days. I'm talking 60 plus degrees.
Yeah.
I'm talking about people enjoying the week, not worrying about wearing a scarf or a coat, just enjoying it. And that game was talked about all week long, how it was going to be an incredible game. It was the biggest dud on the planet.
Actually, when this game started, it was like 50 in the 50s.
Yeah.
It was a pretty decent weather.
When do we get weather like that?
Yeah. We lucked out.
And you know what we got the next day? We got deluged with snow, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
We had a blizzard in this town the very next day. But all week long, they kept telling us this is going to be a phenomenal game because Peyton Manning is going to do this and that, because Russell Wilson, blah, 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 all week long. The worst game I have ever seen in the Super Bowl was that one.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've learned is let these entertainers.
And Bruno Mars did the halftime show.
Let me say this, because whether you're a fan of Bruno Mars or not, and I am a fan, he saved the Super Bowl. And I'm talking about people like me who were getting ready to get up out of our chairs and go back to our homes.
Yeah.
We were visiting a friend of ours in New Jersey. We were about ready to walk out the door before Bruno Mars came on.
Mm-hmm.
Bruno Mars saved that game. And there have been other games like that where if it weren't for the halftime show, we are bored out of our minds.
Mm-hmm.
There was another one, if you remember this one, which was New England against the Rams.
13-3 game.
A horrible game. Completely boring.
Yeah.
Halftime was a snooze fest. I don't want to see that when it's Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
I want to be happy. I want to enjoy what's going on.
Yes.
I want to root for my team. I understand every year we don't get our favorite teams, but when we do, we need to be entertained. Yeah. Those two games were not entertainment.
Yeah.
They were trash.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to see this game has a chance to go that way too, as I'm seeing it. Because I'm sorry, unless you're a New England Patriot fan, you do not want to see this team win for the 7th time. Let's get serious.
Yeah.
Somebody else win the Super Bowl, please.
Yeah.
Go Seattle. Get it done.
Go Seahawks. Go Hawks. And the 12th man.
That's right. The 12th man should be heard that day loud and clear.
Yes, indeed.
Go Sam Darnold. Win it for us.
Okay, on to baseball. Quickly, the Mets have bolstered their rotation with one of the top starters in the game. The Mets got All-Star Freddy Peralta on a 4-player trade with the Milwaukee Brewers. Tobias Myers is also going to the Mets, along with Peralta. While the Mets traded away Brandon Sproat and Jett Williams for these two players. Now, we were a little bit worried about whether, David Stearns was going to do anything.
Right. Up until that point, for Met fans, this was the most boring, toxic offseason we have ever seen. And I'm talking about when the Wilpons were running this team. This was a total disaster.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he woke up and he made 5 trades in that week. 5, including this one. This was a significant deal. This is a pitcher, Freddy Peralta, who I believe is a top 15 pitcher in the game. Yes, we gave up the 3rd best prospect from our farm system, Jett Williams. Yes, we gave up the 5th best prospect in Brandon Sproat. But what we might have is a starting rotation that will kick some butt.
Yeah.
And as a Met fan, my team was sinking to the bottom until that trade was made.
Yep.
Now we're talking about adding people in this ball club. There is a rumor going around that the Mets are still involved in the Framber Valdez deals. Oh my God. We might wind up being, by the time spring training is done, we might have the best pitching staff in the game. Never mind the Yankees. It will be us if we get Framber Valdez.
Wow.
I will say that right now on the air. We have an awesome starting rotation that will get much better if we bring this guy in along with it. The 5 that we have. I'm expecting Kodai Senga to rebound.
Yeah.
I'm expecting Manaea to rebound. I know David Peterson was dead tired. He's going to pitch less innings probably. Clay Holmes, let's remember him. He won 12 games and he had never started.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at? A team that can be right in the mix with the Phillies and Atlanta to win the division after failing to get to the playoffs last year.
Season. Yeah.
How about that, Met fans?
Interesting. Very interesting. Hopefully, maybe the Mets might surprise us.
Oh, yes, I think they may very well surprise us.
Being fans of this team, we're used to surprises.
Yes. And I mean, lots of bad ones over the years. But this year, from all of a sudden, from nowhere, they got Bichette, they got Peralta, they have taken off and flown. Yeah. And I'm waiting to see what else. And I think you're going to see one or two more deals before they start the season.
One quick thing. The Olympics are starting on Friday. They're going to be held in Milan and Cortina d'Ampezzo, Italy. Just one quick thing. What do you think? I know the Americans are going to do they usually do the best in like skiing and usually speed skating. Mm-hmm. But what do you think about the Olympics coming up?
Wow.
Just one quick thing.
Well, I think the Olympics, first of all, are going to be very interesting in terms of how the American public handles it.
Yeah.
I think we have to figure out a way to make this peaceful and acceptable to our fan base.
Yes.
There's a lot of controversy swirling around this with the Trump administration.
Accompanying the Olympic athletes, which I think was really ridiculous.
And I'm not sure we should be doing it now either, but it looks like we're going to go ahead and try.
Mm.
We love Lindsey Vonn. We think she's
unfortunately though she's going to be out.
Hurt now.
Yeah, she injured herself, so she won't be there. Yep. Unfortunately,
that would have been one of the big headline stories. But her out, that definitely changes the picture.
Yeah.
But as a fan of the Olympics, I am praying that we have a normal Olympic, that we respect the people that we're facing, and that we do our best to win. But I respect the other countries, and I certainly hope you do as well.
Yes. For Steve Ferguson, I'm Pedro Hazel Jr. saying thanks for joining us. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. The internet address is youtube.com/@PedroFergie Sportscorner, all one word. Again, youtube.com/@PedroFergie Sportscorner, all one word. Have a good week, everyone.
Go Seattle.
Go 12th man.
Go 12th man. Win it all.
Yeah.